Once in the South Pacific, a remarkable occurrence transpired near Rarotonga Island in the Cook Islands. A lady became the target of a humpback whale's ire. The gigantic beast tossed her into the air with its head and pulled her underwater with its fins. She believed it was the end for her. The subsequent action of the whale was extraordinary. Whales, with their immense size and striking presence, are among the most impressive species on this planet. Their dimensions, intellect, and social habits have intrigued mankind for generations. They share many traits with humans, complex communication being one of them. This affinity for the large sea inhabitants was also shared by Australian marine biologist Nan Hauser. Her fascination with these marine giants led her to seek a better understanding of their world. As a young girl, Nan was captivated by the seemingly infinite blue expanse and profound depths of the ocean. Her love for the sea was so deep-rooted that she resolved to make a career in marine biology. As soon as she learned to swim, Nan spent much of her time at the beach. Her grandmother often cautioned her against being swallowed by a whale, to which Nan would always respond with a smile. So when Nan expressed an interest in pursuing marine biology, her family was not surprised. She dedicated her studies to aquatic beings, primarily whales and dolphins. Over 3 decades, her countless dives in the Cook Islands and the Bahamas established her as a leading expert in her field. One clear sunny day off the Cook Islands coast, Nan found herself on a boat filming a documentary about whales. As the shoot wrapped up, the director asked her to jump into the water for additional shots. Despite feeling fatigued, Nan agreed and plunged into the water. As she swam away from the boat, a dark figure caught her eye in the distance. Upon closer inspection, she identified it as a humpback whale swiftly closing in on her. Nan lifted her hand to signal the whale to stop, but it gently pushed her back. For Nan, who had been diving with whales for years, this was a first. It was the inaugural time a whale had displayed such behavior. She knew she could lose her life to this whale. Keeping her gaze fixed on the creature, Nan was wary of the slightest movement of its fin. Despite her efforts to steer clear, the whale seemed drawn to her. The more she attempted to maintain a distance, the closer it came. Something was amiss. This was their territory, and she exercised maximum caution. However, its approach was relentless. Before she knew it, the humpback whale had taken her beneath its colossal body. Pain seared through her as sharp objects and clams clinging to the whale grazed her. The situation escalated when she remembered her snorkeling mask, heightening the risk of drowning. Her grandmother's words echoed ominously in her mind. "Be mindful, lest you be swallowed by a whale." She genuinely feared that fate was about to be hers. Valiantly trying to push herself to the surface, her efforts bore no fruit. The whale was dragging her down further. Surprisingly, it released her from beneath its fin, bringing her suddenly to the surface, only to pull her under once more. She sensed the creature's agitation. In her precarious situation, Nan tried to remain composed, although the hope of survival seemed faint. The terror choked her as she believed the creature was intentionally endangering her. As a skilled professional, she strove to maintain her calm, attempting to decipher the animal's seemingly irrational actions. In that moment, she caught the whale's eyes, which seemed to communicate something. Its wide-open gaze resembled that of someone who had witnessed a phantom. Nan understood that something was bothering the giant marine mammal, but she couldn't fathom what. Moments later, the whale distanced itself and began spinning, its tail hitting the water with force. Overwhelmed with shock and terror, Nan found the creature's behavior incomprehensible. When she eventually raised her head, another creature loomed near the one that had initially confronted her. The sight of this incredibly large being swimming toward her plunged her further into shock. Initially suspecting another whale was approaching, she soon realized its tail was moving left to right, not up and down as before. The creature she was about to encounter was not a whale, it was a tiger shark. In all her diving experiences, this shark was the largest she had ever seen. Roughly the size of a large vehicle, she was petrified at the sight of it, convinced this enormous predator would rip her to shreds. She saw no escape route. Tiger sharks hold the second place for the title of the most lethal sharks in the world, right after the great white shark. While most shark species need only one taste to determine if their prey is worth the effort, tiger sharks are known for their insatiable hunger and particular hostility toward humans. Their jaws possess such strength that they can effortlessly pulverize even resilient sea turtles. This was the ultimate horror for any diver. Nan was facing a monstrous tiger shark larger than any she had ever observed, and it seemed hell-bent on attacking her. In the moments leading up to the impending attack, the whale emerged, took Nan onto its head, and heaved her to safety behind the boat at high speed. Nan plummeted back into the water after being propelled through the air, but quickly swam to the boat and climbed aboard. The winded woman took a deep breath, relief and surprise washing over her. She then realized the whale had not intended to hurt her. It was trying to save her from the shark. The whale had accomplished this feat successfully. As the whale swam away, vanishing into the deep ocean, Nan shouted after it, tears glistening in her eyes. "I'm sorry, I love you. I love you too." The whale disappeared from view, heading out into the open sea. However, this wasn't the end of the story. 1 year and 15 days later, as Nan conducted research on her boat, radio chatter from a fisherman indicated a whale sighting near the harbor. For an entire year, Nan had tirelessly sought the whale that saved her life that day. Nearly every day she ventured out to the sea, hoping to witness her savior once again. She sped off to the exact coordinates. Seeing the whale was indeed a humpback. Could it be the same one that had saved her life? As she moved closer to the whale, she noted a scar on its head and 2 notches on its tail. Nan recognized it. It was indeed him. Her savior had returned. Based on her research, only 2 whales had returned to these waters in the past 2 decades. For Nan, it was unthinkable that the whale that had saved her life would return. By nature, whales typically ignore humans, but this one looked straight at her while dismissing everyone else on board. As the whale surfaced, Nan's cries of delight and pure emotion filled the air. Not wishing to waste a second, she plunged into the water, reaching out and locking herself in an embrace with it. As the whale pressed its head into her tummy, tears filled everyone's eyes. It was a breathtaking sight. They remained in this mutual embrace for a good 20 minutes, cherishing the reunion. When it was time for their goodbye, Nan called out words of love and gratitude, echoing the sentiments she had expressed during their initial encounter. Sharing her wild and extraordinary experience, Nan stated, "If someone were to recount this tale to me, I'd be skeptical. It's unheard of. A whale saving a human from a shark, then showing up a year later. It's unbelievable. I can't really label the surge of feelings I experienced during that last meeting. However, I can confirm that I was overtaken by astonishment. I felt deep affection and overwhelming joy at that moment. I know he will forever remain a component of my soul and will continue to fill my thoughts. I yearn for our paths to cross again because his absence is profoundly felt. It's doubtful whether someone would believe this account, just like the disbelief I battled with when he revisited. I miss him. I genuinely believe our reunion is a matter of time."